Hey everybody, Matt Johnston here, Matt the lawyer. We're talking about some recent guidance from the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. So before we get started, I would like everybody to do me a favor, hit that subscribe button you see down below. If you click the bell, you'll also get a notification when we have new content uploaded. So here's a riddle to start with. What do you call somebody who reads EEOC press releases for fun? The answer, a nerd or a lawyer. In this case, me. So yesterday, the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, issued some new updated guidance to its sort of ongoing guidance related to COVID-19, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and other equal opportunity employment type laws. So in reality, it's not all that surprising, but apparently we sort of need to reiterate a few concepts. Number one, you cannot discriminate against anybody who's part of a protected class. Number two, everybody is part of a protected class. So while what I'm going to be talking about here is not exactly a protected class, remember, everybody is part of a protected class. So what we're really talking about is caregivers. So there is a lot of people who have had to take time off from work in order to care for family members, partners, spouses, things like that, who have been suffering from COVID or who have had long COVID symptoms. COVID and long COVID symptoms can be considered a disability under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Now, we're going to come back to the ADA in just a second. But it's illegal for an employer to discriminate against anybody based upon that person's protected class and their caregiving. So, for examples, you can't decline to hire or promote female candidates because they have children or parents or somebody else for whom they are providing care, whether that care is long COVID, childcare responsibilities, things of those natures. You can't discriminate against women, nor can you discriminate against men who do the same thing. So you can't favor or disfavor either group based upon their sex or gender, which is a protected class under Title VII. You cannot deny male employees permission to telework or adjust their schedules to enable them to perform pandemic-related caregiving obligations. Kind of what the EEOC said. So, dad is the one who's home taking care of the kids because he's working remotely. And it's a temporary accommodation while he's taking care of the children or taking care of a family member, things like that. So there are quite a few things where situations can come up. And you can easily just simply say, don't make assumptions about caregiving and caregiving status. It may be temporary, it may be short term, and you can't discriminate against that if it's within your power and it's not an unreasonable accommodation. Now, a little bit earlier, I talked about how long COVID and sometimes COVID symptoms themselves can be considered a disability under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Now, an employer is not required to accommodate an employee for, they're not required to accommodate and make an accommodation for the employee's family. However, if you as an employer are granting certain classifications of employees the right to modify their schedule, the right to work remotely, the right to take unpaid leave or even paid leave off, assuming the employee has it available, and you're allowing some class of employees to do it and other classes not, that's where you're going to run into the EEOC. The ADA accommodations are about the individual employee, not about the individual employee's family. Okay? But the EEOC, Title VII, the Rehabilitation Act, the Americans with Disabilities Act, it does apply to employees and making sure that their caregiving responsibilities aren't being stereotyped. Like, why would the father need the time off? Or why can't we promote this or fail to hire a woman because she has a child with a mental health disability or some other disability and may need additional time or flexibility to provide care? You can't discriminate. You can't choose. If you're going to be a jerk and say, no, you can't have nobody can have time off to care for somebody with COVID. First of all, you're a jackass, but it is legal. Sort of. For the most part, it would be legal as long as you weren't discriminating. But the minute you start granting some people the ability to have flexible work schedules, remote work possibilities, unpaid time off, then you are going to have to provide that same availability to every employee, regardless of who they are. And if you happen to be an employer who is FMLA eligible, meaning you've got at least 50 employees, chances are you're going to have some FMLA implications as well. Now, if you're unsure of whether or not you should have a policy regarding time off for caregiving, you should really consult an attorney. How you doing? You can give us a call, schedule a time, and we can work through the process. In the meantime, go out and watch some live soccer. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.